Nigeria, Africa's largest economy, has been overtaken by Côte d'Ivoire and Ghana here in West Africa as to investment destination. Nigeria now ranks 14 out of 54, according to the latest report by Rand Merchant Bank. The West Africa's biggest oil producer, or Africa's biggest oil producer, has maintained the 8th position in investment attractiveness ranking in 2018 and 2019, but was missing among the top 10 in the 2021 edition after being overtaken by Côte d'Ivoire, which ranked 8th position. The World Bank says in a report that Nigeria's working age population is set to expand by a record 133 million between 2020 and 2015, adding to the existing job pressures. Gospel Obele is an economist, and he just made out for a Friday morning conversation. Hey, good morning.
Thank you, Wilson.
Okay, you had a cup of tea this morning?
Not really.
Not yet. Okay, yeah, that's your cup of. This is my cup of tea. I'm going to keep it out of your way, but it's good to have one.
Thank you. Yeah,
good. Great. So let's talk about the impact working age population. You're still within the working age. I'm already heading to the departure lounge, by the way, just close. But what is the impact of such a big jump in our working age population? What's the ramification?
I mean, the fear is that it would worsen the unemployment situation because there's clearly nothing on ground, structurally speaking, to be able to take that rise in the working age population by 2025. Right? We are not yet industrializing as a nation. We need to see the right investments now to be able to tell if we can take the significant chunk of young Nigerians.
Do I tend to disagree with folks like you? Because government officials will point to entertainment sector, they point to fintech, the folks in Yaba and Onitsha, and they believe that so much has been done. That's what the government officials are saying.
Those sectors have risen, all right, based on their self-resilience efforts, in the sense, not because there was some form of structured, organized policy intervention or structural intervention by government to enable those different sectors, and all that. So fundamentally speaking, they have the potential, and the government keeps speaking to the potential and trying to tie what they've done to those potential as well. But the result we've seen over time has been a result of the hard work and the resilience of individuals and stakeholders in those sectors, not because there have been some coordinated policy or structural intervention to empowering and enabling those sectors into mainstream.
But the Bank of Industry has given hundreds of millions. I think the last count I was looking at, the figure of about 2 billion to the entertainment industry. Is that what you're talking about?
No, not exactly, because it's more than just funding. You want to look at the skills bit, you want to look at the market, you want to look at the value, the culture, and all of those things.
The value chain.
Yes, all of those other non-funding items, plus the funding items. So now we brag a lot about funding in this part of the world, but if you look at it from an impact report standpoint, how many of the businesses, the BOI, and other stakeholders have funded have literally probably grown in terms of workforce, in terms of products, or leapfrog, to some particular level to say that they've added the critical impact they need on the mainstream GDP composition. How many? All right, until we can answer that question, we can't effectively say that XYZ amount of money that was pumped led to this increase. I can significantly say that it's been more around the resilience of the stakeholders in those sectors than the funding made available.
Okay, I got it, because, part of the funds given by any of these DFIs, whether you are the commercial bank, still have to procure generator, by the way. Generators, I mean. Yes, the World Bank says Nigeria's unemployment situation pushed 1.4 million of its citizens out of the country in 2019. That's migration. People moving out of all countries around the world. Is this a cause for concern?
Yes, it's a cause for concern, but it's also some form of in-quote blessing in disguise. It depends on how we want to look at it.
Give me the bad news first. Give me the bad news first.
The bad news is the fact that you don't have the necessary jobs needed to unlock youth potential in this part of the world. Also to state there is a rising underemployment conversation at 28%, and it's worsening at almost 40% on youth underemployment. So you look at it from that axis. Now, a lot of youths are increasingly going back to the self-resilient question now, all right, developing their skills and all that. Now, by the time they develop their skills, there's literally no ready market for them to deploy. Do you have a market for UI UX designers in this context? I don't think we do have enough. Do we have a market for data analysts or artificial intelligence analysts? Even if the market is there, we've not unlocked it as a market potential to meet with the skills. That's demand-supply dynamics now. All right, so we need to understand that these youths are wearied and tired of the fact that there's an unemployment question. There's also an unemployment question. All right, productivity is not meeting payments and all of those dynamics. So it's enough incentives, also with the kind of response perceived response from the political economy and commitment towards solving those issues. It's a kind of incentive to get into the youth migration block and all that. And Nigeria has almost 28% share of international migration engagement in that sense.
So should we let this youth go? And
it's not a function of if you want to let them or not.
Let them bring remittances back to the country.
They've gone already. So it's not really a question of if we want to let them go or not. In fact, chunks and loads will be leaving again in January.
No, because we should just be looking for them to send our money back home.
That's the plus side of things. Because right now we contribute about $25 billion in terms of foreign remittances from youths who have migrated.
Yes.
And that's a huge potential.
Yeah,
but the central bank...
But a bigger chunk of what they make stays
way
in the
much
country
bigger,
where they are.
Yes, definitely.
So I don't see remittances as a sucker.
Yeah,
and I don't want anybody telling me that.
I mean, the big concern...
$29 billion?
Way more than that, of course. We know that way more than that. But we don't even have a structure to correctly, a model to correctly estimate the bandwidth, enough to tell that, okay, these are the structures we need to put in place to ensure that those monies are coming in as a major source of government revenue as well. But then if you think about it the other way around, all right, these youths would not be seeking to comply or are not inspired to comply to such. All right, being fully well, they know that there's a government that have concerns around accountability, quality of governance and all that. So if you ask the average Nigerian outside the country, would you want to contribute to a foreign diaspora remittance pool for the government? They would happily tell you, I'm not interested. Because when I was in the country, what did the government do for me in quote? So there are deeper concerns around inspiring compliance.
Yes, so,
but
again, we need investment. So the report by Rand Merchant Bank talk about attractive investment destinations, which Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire seem to have moved ahead.
If you look at it very well, those conversations hinged very strongly on the three cardinal points the IMF pointed out in January 2021, which was containing the spread of the pandemic, policy support, and vaccination as well. All right. Look at the top three countries, for instance. Egypt has a population of about 102 million and has vaccinated about 10 million of the population. Morocco has 36 and vaccinated about 22 million.
Yes.
All right. South Africa has about 59 and vaccinated about 10 million. Nigeria has about 200 and we've vaccinated 3 million at least. All right, so the vaccination ratio to the population is very low. And that's a critical indicator to tell us how much of your economic stakeholders are ready to jump on the recovery pool.
So there's a competition for investment dollars.
Exactly. So recovery is the major question here. How much of effort in terms of policy support and containing the spread of coronavirus has gone into enabling for recovery? All right, in as much as we brag about the fact that we're the largest in quote economy by size, we're not the largest when it comes to competitive efforts to unlock foreign direct investments.
Can we displace Egypt at any point? What do we need to do?
What we need to do is to first and foremost, all right, ensure there is a working business environment, all right, with ease. The business environment is made a lot more easy, especially for SMEs and all of that, all right. Infrastructure has to be working. I mean, we don't have an option right now. Power especially. I mean, if you grow power by 45%, if power is improved by 50%, it will improve on the value of the naira, because economic productivity will improve. And then channeling that to more improved access to markets. You'll be earning much more in foreign currencies and the likes, and attracting more investors in that order. So it's a simple chain of cause and effect. All right, so we want to...
It's a Friday, Gospel Obele. Thank you so much. I wish we could share this, but that's off camera. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. And it's a Friday.